Hi everyone, hope everyone's having a great day. I was just getting ready for the new year and organizing some of my inks and kind of labeling them because I did get some new ones over Christmas. And as I was sitting here doing this, I thought, why don't I go ahead and film a video and show you how I get ready when I'm organizing and looking at my stock. So over Christmas, I did get some new Oxides. I was pretty excited. I think I am almost full with my collection. So I'm going to go ahead and take them out and label them. And then I'm also going to kind of do an inventory to see where I'm at with regards to my inks. Believe it or not, I don't have all of them. I have a lot, but I don't have them all. So I wanted to kind of take an inventory, see where I'm at, see what I need to get, and then also kind of take a look at my Reinkers, because once you buy the inks, of course, you know, you can buy the little Reinkers to ink up your pads, and I'm going to kind of show you that as well. So for those of you that don't know, Ranger Ink over on their website has this nice little sheet that you can go ahead and use to label your inks, and then they also have a blank sheet here so you can kind of take inventory and see what you have, and you're able to kind of, you know, get one of your stamps and stamp the color so you can just kind of see where you're at. And then I'm going to show you another idea I had as far as organizing some of my colors for next year as well. So let's jump right in. So the way that I typically will label my sheet here is I have this old star stamp, and it's a vintage stamp that I have, and you guys know that I love to have vintage items all around me. They kind of inspire me. So I'm going to be using this to stamp my stars. And then for my actual stamps, or I should say my inks, I'm going to show you my process for labeling those. So, you know, of course, they come in the plastic, so you got to go ahead and take them out of the plastic. And then I have this stamper, and it's from Stampin' Up, and it's the perfect size to be able to add my labels. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. See, they fit perfectly here. So this is Chipped Sapphire. So I'm going to go ahead and see, and I have already stamped it out. See, it's perfect. So I will take my glue, very simple process, and then just add a little bit of glue. You don't need a whole lot, but I'm just going to add a little bit here. And I can stick it right here at the edge, and now I have my label. Now I'm not the type of person that will add the felt at the bottom, because then you can't stack them, and I like the ability to be able to stack. So I don't do that. I typically have my blending pads separate. And I have a nice little shelf where I stack all of my inks, just kind of in, you know, arm distance, so I can get to them anytime. And having them labeled makes it really nice. So then what I'll do is, once I get them labeled, then I will come to my stamp, and then I will ink it up, get some nice ink, and then I will find my Chipped Sapphire, which is my blues. So let's see here. Chipped Sapphire. So it's going to be probably in the middle. This is typically why I edit, so you don't have to sit here and watch me look for Chipped Sapphire. So if any of you guys see it, you're probably saying, Monica, it's right there, it's right there. Chipped Sapphire, here it is. Okay, so I will just add my star, and it's not a perfect inked star. This is a vintage stamp, like I said, but I'm okay with that, because I like the process, not necessarily the end result. I do, of course, like the end result, but the process is just as fun to me. And these old stamps are just so much fun. They look great, and I like the way that they feel, and they make me feel like I'm back when they were created. So I really enjoy working with them. So that's kind of my process. I'm going to go ahead and go through all of my pads, and I'm going to stamp them, and then I'll kind of take an inventory and see where I'm at, and then I'll put this aside to dry, and then it will end up on my shelf. Now, I wanted to also talk about re-inking your stamps. So, as many of you know, the Distress Oxides, as well as the Distress inks, come with these little refills. But it's kind of interesting. These have been on my shelves. The Distress Oxides are the combination ink. So, some of the ink sits at the bottom. So, before you actually go to re-ink your pads, you want to make sure you give them a good shake so you can make sure all of the pigmentation gets together. And if they've been sitting for a while, it may take some good shakes. You can actually hear the ball in there, and you're going to just give it a good shake. Make sure they get real mixed, and you're going to do that with all of them. Okay, and as you can see, as you shake them, the inks will start to blend together. All right. And as you can see, it's still, you still have some of the separation there. So you just want to make sure you give them good shakes before you actually start to ink them up. And then I want to show you how you can tell when your pad needs ink. So let's look at worn lipstick. I think I have worn lipstick. Let's take a look. Yep, worn lipstick. Okay, so here's my worn lipstick, and then here's my ink pad. And then I want to go ahead and make sure there's no ink. I'm going to go ahead and test my ink. Worn lipstick is at the very top. We'll go ahead and stamp that. And the ink still is pretty good, but if, say for instance, it didn't stamp very well, like when I was stamping my antique linen, I knew that I needed to re-ink it. So when you are organizing your stamps and kind of taking a look at them, if you do decide you need to re-ink it, the ink pads are great when you're trying to figure out if you need to add, because they'll soak in. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just add a strip, and if you can see, do you see how it kind of soaks in really quickly? The ink doesn't stay at the top. That tells me that I need to add ink. Now if it just kind of stayed at the top like that and didn't move, then I would know that I don't necessarily need to add ink. But because it's actually blending in very quickly, I know that I need to add ink. So I will add, you know, check all of my ink pads getting ready for next year. So that way when I go to start creating, I know I won't have any issues with my ink pads. So I'm going to do this with all of my inks. I'll check all of them. And this is a good end of the year. I know that we have spring cleaning, but this is a good thing to do at the end of the year. Before you start your new year, make sure that all of your ink pads, all of your inks are completely inked up. If you need to add some ink, you know, it's a good time to do it. And then just kind of get organized. Now, I said I was going to share with you another way I'm going to organize myself for next year. So when I was getting my inks out, I noticed, and you probably were aware of this, but I really didn't pay much attention, but I noticed that the colors are pretty much lined up where they work together. You know, you've got your, start out with your light pinks, then you're going to your reds, oranges, and these right here are typically the colors that you'll use with the sunset. And then you've got your blues coming into your blues and your greens, and then typically these are the ones that you'll use for like oceans or seas. And then you have your darker colors, which are great for the nighttime types of blending. So I decided that I was going to put together a little key ring with all of my colors, so that way when I'm going to go to start blending, I can kind of just look to see what would work together. So say I was looking at, you know, I don't know, abandoned coral, and I wanted to see how it would look next to tattered roses. I can kind of just you know, flip these around and check them out. So I'm going to put these on a jump ring. This one isn't very good, but I wanted to give you the idea. I'm going to put them on a jump ring, and then I'll just have them right here by my desk, so that way when I am going to start blending, I can take a look at my colors. And then what I'm going to do next year, and I'll make sure that I do film the videos when I start to do it, I'm going to create some tags with different blending ideas. So, you know, one of the things I know when I was going to do some sunsets, I was just kind of playing last night. I thought, boy, I wish I had several ideas for sunsets already laid out, so that way I can kind of look at my sunset tags and say, oh, you know, I like this one or I like that one. And then I can just turn it over and I'll have the combinations. So I'm going to do that as well. So not only will I have a jump ring of my colors, but I'm also going to create a jump ring with different blending solutions, so that way I'll have them all together. And then I can just kind of keep them all on one jump ring with my different blending solutions along with my colors, and this could be something that I can reference. So that's what I'm going to be working on next year. I'm going to do some videos where I'll have, like, you know, different combinations of sunsets and different combinations of night skies, you know, different combinations for a sea background. So that's what I'm going to work on. And I know that there's lots of videos out there showing blending solutions, but I really want to have just, you know, videos for different types, like all sunsets or all oceans. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I want to work on to do some videos next year. So again, I was just, like I said, getting organized for next year, and I thought I would pop on and share with you my process. I'm going to go ahead and continue to label my new inks. I'm going to re-ink any ones that need to be re-inked, and I will start to get ready for my video processes for next year. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have fun organizing for next year. Sometimes it's not just about crafting, it's about getting ready to craft. So keep that in mind, that if you are organized when you go to craft, it will be a lot less stressful and certainly a lot more fun. All right, guys, we'll see you later.